Hey guys, hope you guys are doing well. And I'm here live with you guys. Shukri is off today, so I'll be taking over. And yeah, so basically, there'll be quite a couple of things that I would like to cover for today. And just let me share my screen for now. Yeah, so first things first, right? We want to start off with where Bitcoin is at this point in time, because I think in the past 2 days or so, this has been quite exciting. So I'll bring your attention to the chart, and where you can see my white line is here is basically the 60K mark. So what you're basically seeing here is that, yeah, in the past, I don't know, since the past 15 or 16 days, we've seen a massive run right up to 60,000. And that is where we are today. But the question, of course, now is, are we going to break that 60,000? And just for fun, if you actually had a look at it, I know of a friend who took a trade from here all the way up here, or maybe slightly a little bit lower, with a smart money concept that he has used. But at the end of the day, the point here I'm trying to show is that if you are in the crypto space as well and you do know how to use technical analysis, if you're going long for Bitcoin in a time like that, it's also an opportunity for you to be able to make some money. So with that being said, again, the question for me now is whether does Bitcoin hit or break 60,000? And I think I spoke about this last week, whereby we always have a question about, is this a real bull run that's coming, or is the price really being inflated at this point in time because the whales are anticipating, for example, an ETF approval, and that's where they're putting in their money for now. And that's a question that we still don't know, right? But we're currently at 59,400. But basically, what I wanted to highlight is that if we were to look at Ethereum, I think what we saw yesterday was this massive push up, right? So if I break it down to that 4 hour, for the fact that we respected this support, and we had this quite a extensive run up to 3,008, it's kind of like a first sign for me, because I think I spoke about the cycle, right? So the cycle meaning, what we first expect is for Bitcoin to pump, and then we are going to expect Ethereum is going to be the next one to follow, which is why I spoke about it last week, when we discussed the question of whether is Ethereum going to pump or not. And for me, I think I'm starting to see a little bit of that, when it got up to 3,008. So what's coming next? I think I'm going to keep my eyes closed on the next 25 coins. I think, just to repeat myself, the major caps are going to go, followed by the minor caps. So that's something you just want to keep an eye on. And again, I'm saying, if you want to position a little bit of money for yourself in a better place, then that's something you definitely need to take into account. So we're going to move on a little bit into the NFT space. I think we know when it comes to Ethereum, while there are many projects in that space, especially for NFTs, the gas fees can be ridiculous. So this is a little bit exaggerated, but it's extremely true, whereby we have seen people pay this $430,000 amount for gas fees, and yet it's a it's a failed payment. So I guess for us, this is not common, because at least for me, I don't have 430,000 worth of Ethereum in my wallet, but maybe Shukri does, and he is at risk of this. But what I'm trying to say here is that, is because of this, I think there are more and more people trying to get into the other NFT blockchain spaces. For example, the Solana space, or now with Immutable X that is up and coming as well. So this is where I would like to call caution for you guys, right? So it's a learning for myself when I experienced kind of like a rug pull with this project called Dexterity Art Club. So basically, what I'm showing you now is their Twitter page, whereby a few days ago, about 3 or 4 days ago, they actually came back out, to my surprise, to say that they're going to refund. So the story here is that the artwork that they were selling were not even original at all. They kind of like went to Shutterstock, or they Googled it, and they took that image and they add some color to it, and then they tried to resell it. Yeah, so they closed. So after the minting happened and stuff like that, the whole Discord just shut down and they disappeared for a long, long time. And there were many people talking about it being a rug pull. But they did come out, like I said, maybe 1 or 2 days later to say that they are going to refund the people their money, including me. But we haven't heard any updates there. So to me, that's still a rug pull at this point in time. So the whole point what I'm trying to say here is be careful because people are seeing the opportunity to get into these, and that is something you want to really be watching out for, especially in blockchains like Solana at this point in time. There may be many, and it's tempting because the gas is cheap, but do your own research about what is real and what's not. Then I'm going to move on next, and I'm going to talk about Amarshal, right? So I've talked about this 3 times, and I'm going to follow what Shukri does, where it's really something worth discussing. We have to talk about it multiple times, and I remember he spoke about DYDX and that airdrop about 16 times. So I'm 3 times in. I have another 13 times to go. But basically, what I'm trying to show here again is at the start of October. I think the last time I talked about Amarshal was the end of September, and I was encouraging people to have a look at it and to invest in it if they thought that they are aligned with what I'm sharing. So I know for sure Weasel got in. I think he bought a small bag. I'm thinking Sui got in as well, which is extremely great because in early October, I think Marshall got up to top 30 trending coins, and that really goes to show that with some of the activities that they have done in September, and I've talked about their real use cases and how that normally correlates to the potential of a project. This is really showing some good signs. So some of the activities in September, right? I'm just going to talk about the real use cases again because I just want to highlight to you guys again. It's one of the projects that I've seen with most real use cases, and I'm going to show you an example of how it benefit me as well. And you can decide for yourself if it's something useful for you or if you want to get in as well. So the last time around, I spoke a little bit of what they did in September, where they released 5 unique beneficial products, and I'll go into detail of that a little bit later on. Yeah, but the other thing I just wanted to highlight here is they also have a buyback that they are planning. I think the date's not set yet, but for the fact that they are announcing a buyback, for me, that's extremely crucial. We want to be looking at a few things, right? Of why, for example, they are doing such a buyback. And I think that is because they know that a long-term sustainable growth environment is key to support the community and the people who believe in them, and they also believe in token performance. So to me, that's really looking at things in both ways to try and push the project from an offering point of view, and also looking to see as founders what they can do to further support the community. So this buyback thing is extremely valuable to me as well. And if I were to just go straight into the builder thing, sorry, I think I've got it here as well. The key thing that I really want to talk about, which really helped me, is the Marshall Explorer updates. So the Explorer updates are basically things like your BSC scan, right? And your Ether scan as well. So they have launched it, right? And this is just for you guys to have a look at how many people have used it. And I'm thinking here, if you have not used it, you definitely need to go and try and use it. So this is what it looks like. You just head on to xscan.io and you key in your address. So this is my wallet. And I'm seeing things that I never even knew I had. So you just have to key in your wallet address, and you can see both Ethereum BSC, and you can just have a look at your assets here. You don't have to go to BSC scan, you don't have to go to Ether scan, and I think in future there might be Polygon as well, if I'm not wrong. So this is a great advantage when you want to have a check at that. You can have a look at your history, your transaction across the 2 different blockchains as well. Extremely convenient. So I hope I pull that in like a thread for you guys to understand, whereby this is what I'm talking about, like real use cases, whereby this is just one example of it, whereby it really goes to show how much it can help. And where there's more of these, then again, the value or the potential of the project will keep growing. Oh, sorry. So I just wanted to share this with you as well. So what you've just seen is kind of like a token indexer, whereby it shows you all your balances and stuff like that. But what Amasho is doing next, and they're going along with the times, is that they are also trying to develop a decentralized NFT indexer. So what that means is that I'm sure, like I just discussed, there are projects on Ethereum, there are projects on Solana, eventually on ADA as well. So what they're trying to do now is to do something similar, just like what I've showed you for the NFT space, because we all know how big this NFT space is going to be in the future, and it has already started. So this is definitely something we want to be keeping our eyes closely looked at, right? We definitely don't want to be losing out on this. So for example, I'm just going to show you a little bit here. They're going to do a decentralized NFT indexers, over 25 founder nodes, and that is basically a lot of convenience which will be shared for end users like us. Yeah, so with that, the last part, yeah, so just before I move on to the last part, which I wanted to share a little bit about Polkadot and their crowd loan, is this, right? So once again, well, I'm not sure how much Marshall is trading now at the moment. Just let me quickly do a search so that we all know. We are currently at $1.05, right? So again, I trust most of you coming through Actions to Wealth will probably have some form of technical analysis abilities. But just going back to 90 days or so, this was the pump that I was speaking about, right? And if you just have a look at it with this little bit of retracement, to me, this is probably a good discount price. So I'm thinking this is probably going to be a mid-term to a long-term project. It's not a short-term flip, but that's definitely aligned to the investments that the team of Ann Marshall is currently doing. So just trying to share this with you guys. It's a project that we are definitely looking at as a team. And yeah, that's my side of the story. Do your own research and let me know what you think about it. And for the last 2-3 minutes, if you don't already know, Shukri probably did speak about this as well, but Polkadot has started their crowd loans. I don't have it here. Yeah, here it is. So you guys know what happened with Kusama, right, the last time around. So this is going to be exactly the same thing when it comes to Polkadot. The first batch of auction is going to start November 11th. When I talk about Kusama and I said, remember what happened? All right, don't make the same mistake as me. When I was starting, I bought my first batch of Kusama at $50, and I'm actually thanking myself that I did it back then, but I went through a lot to get myself to buy it at $50. I was thinking $50, that's ridiculously high. At that point, I was totally new and I almost gave up on that opportunity. But I bought a small bag. I wish I got more. So that's what I'm trying to share here. Well, if you have a look at, before I show you Polkadot, look at this pump and this pump. This is basically when the crowd loan happened before sort of the short bear market kicked in, right? So look at this, from this point at 50 all the way up here to 600, and we know what drove it all the way up here. So if you're looking at Polkadot at this point in time and you just look at it in the past 90 days, you might look at this chart and say, this is extremely expensive, right? I don't think it's worth it to go in at $40 for example. But this is what I'm trying to share with you. My point is, this was how exactly I felt at this point in time. But look at what a crowd loan did to Kusama, and this is what's going to happen. This pump that you see here is probably from the news that came out that it was going to happen. The Polkadot crowd loan is going to happen in November, and people are already starting to buy some. So if you are not already in and you are thinking it's expensive, my message to you is think again, right? So if you have a look at this, there are 3 projects here. This tree is quite clear. They are quite big names. The waitlists are already out and ready. If you have not done so, go and whitelist yourself on it. And more importantly, just make sure you get yourself a bag of dot just so that you can be involved and don't miss out on these crowd loan opportunities. So with that, I think I've covered quite a few things, the whole Bitcoin, the general market, Marshall as well, and the Polkadot crowd loan. So if there's any questions, I think just try reach out. If not, then I'll see you guys the next time round, sometime next week again. All right, with that, thanks guys.